So, in one of the episodes of God and Heartbreak, I spoke about this one time wherein I felt like I wasn't coping with um, the pain anymore, right? Um, the pain, and for me, it was the pain of embarrassment, right? Because at some point, I was going to have to come out with what's going on. People ask, hey, why are you back home? All that stuff. So, um, it's when you drink painkillers and the painkillers realize that it's heartbreak. Chief, there's nothing we can do. So I spoke about that a bit. I touched on it a bit in Garden Heartbreak. So the thing about that is, I did say to my parents I wanted to check into a healthcare facility, and my parents were like, "Yo, if that's what you want, we support you." I didn't end up doing that. My friends actually suggested the same therapy center, like psychologist, um, a really good psychologist called Waterfall, and that's where I ended up going. So, in all of that, right, what I was struggling with, there's different elements, but let's speak about one today. When God was like, "Yo, I've got your back," you know, from a year before that, I was like, "Lord, give me the things that you're promising me, and then get Isaiah," right? Was it 2 years before that? Excuse me. And I was kind of scared to take like a leap of faith. I knew that I had to take that leap, but I was like, "Lord, please just give me all of these things because I don't know what's waiting for me on the other side," right? And either way, I was like Nicholas Sharp. I was better off, right? By myself, okay. But I was just like, "Lord, please give me these things. How am I gonna pay this? How am I gonna do this? I don't have a job." And. Guys, in the during the whole healing process, you really need to have faith in God. I know that's the hardest time to have faith. You kind of don't want to believe in nothing at the time, but you need to have faith. And our pain and our tears and our brokenness, right, prevent us from seeing and feeling God's love. Because human beings have disappointed us so much, we start to compare God to a human and say, Malerato broke my trust, so I don't know if I can trust you. Oh, God is not a man that he should lie. Even if the God's word does not manifest immediately, everything that God has promised you will come to being. God literally guards his word so that it comes to being perfectly. Like, I So anyway, you need to get to a stage where you can see past your tears and past your broken issues so that you can walk into the purpose that God has for your life, excuse me. You don't know how I feel about editing. I ain't editing now. So you need to have faith. When you're going through heartbreak, you need to have faith. Rely on God so he can tell you what your purpose is, where to next, where to from here. You really need to have faith. It's not easy. And be honest with God about that part where it's not easy. Like, yo, I'm struggling today. I need to lean on your strength because I can't do this. That's what got me through a whole lot of heartbreak. I was dealing with embarrassment, but ring syndrome more than anything, honestly speaking. Like, how could this happen to me? I'm so loving, I'm so kind. I did all the right things. That was what I was struggling with. I was focusing on myself and I wasn't seeing the bigger picture. I wasn't seeing that God had plans for my life, a purpose for my life, right? And also, I kept on forgetting that I blatantly disobeyed God. Blatantly. After he tried to pull me out of certain things a couple of times, I was just like, no, I want to obey. Go, Raya. They were going. So, you need to take a step back. And guys, one of the best things to do when you are going through heartbreak is to serve. Because you stop being selfish and saying, "Oh, nah, my heart." You get to see that other people out there have needs. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going after heartbreak, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship. But serving, honestly, you have an outlet for that pain And serving people is honestly so humbling. You'll forget that you're going through heartbreak. For real. One of the best things you can do is serve. Okay, let me get straight into the story. Okay, so therapy's going on. I'm liking therapy because I can vent and I can scream and I can shout and I can do whatever it is I need to do. While all of that is happening, God puts me in isolation. And isolation means that there was a time where I was alone. My parents had projects that they were busy with, personal stuff and life stuff and whatever. They had projects and stuff that they had to work on. So they needed to go and attend to those things and they left me alone. I was alone for a couple of months. My parents would come maybe like once a month to come check on me. I needed to be home. I couldn't be alone. That was a mess. I was also diagnosed with anxiety, right? So at that time, so I was on meds and stuff. So yeah, moving was not an option for me. I needed the support. So anyway, they are out and about living their best lives as they should because they don't have bana babinyane. And here, like at home, and I'm alone with God, and I don't know what to do. There was no friend that I could call. There was no one. For a couple of months, I was alone. God literally hid me. He made me invisible. And so we were alone for a couple of months. And I had to sit and face myself. I had to look back at all the decisions that I've made. I literally had to sit with God for months, just the two of us. Every day, I was alone. I was working from home. I had nowhere to go. All my meetings were virtual. And I would go to the gym, come back, and I would sit. For months. Literally. That part was very important for the healing because a lot of the time we are so scared of being by ourselves. We're always around other people. God was like, nah, my child, that's not going to happen. I need you to face yourself and I need you to face me. This is not what I wanted for you. And this we are able to fix. There's a whole life waiting for you. I need you to choose life in Bali. I need you to choose yourself. I need you to choose me. Yo. Guys, that time was just hectic. You know when you really call even your one friend who's always down to go out and they're like, nah, bruv, sorry, I'm not around. That's where I was at. That's really where I was at. And I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I really don't know what to do with myself. God is like, you are going to face yourself and you're going to face me. That was like, honestly, that was a tough couple of months. I remember at some point I got COVID during that time. The COVID was really, really bad. I couldn't smell and I couldn't taste. That actually went on for a couple of months. And when the COVID was like still very bad, I remember my dad had to come back and he was taking care of me for a couple of weeks and then he had to return. He had to leave. At some point there, it was a trip I wanted to go on and then God says nah, and I'm like, nah, bro, I've been chilling for months. I haven't gone anywhere, haven't done anything. Please, God is like, nah. I'm like, no, you're not gonna tell me no, I'm going. Went to Durban July and I was grooving. I was a groovist and we were grooving. And guys, I kid you not, nah. When God says no, just listen. Yo, guys, I've made enough mistakes for all of us, to learn from. There's absolutely no need for a situation. There was no need for me to go to Durban July. I was just supposed to sit here, honestly, and just start getting into the word. But no, because Mbali knows it all. Pew! Durban July too. Okay. So I think we're at the part where I walk into the church and I just feel like I'm at home, right? And to date, I've never looked back. But my chat is around this fact. even for me to get there, God had put me in isolation. He had made me invisible. I'm gonna finish the story. And what I mean is, I was still on social media, but no one could see me. And God does that for your protection. Because when you're in the season when God is breaking you, so He can put you back together in the way it should be, so you can learn the lessons that you need to learn, and you guys can face winner or shabane yourself, and you can also spend alone time with God. That's when God is refining you. And I tried to kind of run out of that season, and God was like, nope. He cooked me. God cooked. Guys, God cooked. God cooked. God cooked. He was like, for where you are going, my child, you're going to need these skills. So we are going to work on them. We're going to work, excuse me. We're going to work on your patience. We're going to work on this. We're going to work on this. And guys, He cooked. I will definitely be expanding more on the cooking, but He cooked me. I tried to run even with this group thing, but God was like, no. I'm grateful for what God did for me and to me, because had He not done that, I don't know where I would be. Even that time when He let me while out for like a couple of months, I'm grateful He let me have that experience, because I needed to see what life was like outside before. Like, there's nothing at group, guys. There's nothing. Anyway, church. I get to that church, I feel like I'm at home. That church is not my home. And on Sundays now, I started going to church, right? My parents are like, oh, okay. Because I was like, no, I'm going to church. They're like, you're going to church again? Like, you're back at church? I'm like, yeah. My parents are like, oh, which church is this? I tell them. So they start doing their research. The day I took my membership certificate, into that snippet that I keep talking about where I say, she doesn't know it yet, but months from now she gets baptized and she lives for the Lord. That was the last time I wore a jean and a crop top to church. Because you come to church, you come to Jesus as you are, but you don't leave or live the same. So ever since then, I started serving. From the first time I got to church, I was like, where do I serve? They were like, hey, you can sign up. I was like, sign me up for everything. I've got time. I've got all the time. My job allows me to serve. At the time, I had a law firm, and I was busy just basically unwinding the law firm, like closing it down. And I was like, no, I'm here to serve. Whatever you guys need, whatever time you guys need me, I'm here to serve. Serving was one of the best things I ever did for myself. You learn a lot when you're serving. You get to meet people, and you get to meet people from different walks of life, but you also learn a lot about yourself. It is still part of God's process of refining me. I can't believe that God literally reached me through a post. It's literally a post where Philip Anthony Mitchell was talking about sin. And that on that day, it was just enough for me to go back to church. There were so many battles that I fought, even with the build up to my baptism, guys. There were so many things that were happening that I'm unable to share, but there was so much that was happening, and the devil kept on trying to pull me. I remember earlier on this year, I knew where I was supposed to be. I got a job offer, and I was like, you know what? I don't like not having the stable income that I used to have before. I should maybe take this job. God was like, And another job offer came by, and I was just like, Lord. But I've learned that when God tells you to do something or to go a certain direction and you don't listen, so I was just like, no, Lord, if this is not what you want for me, then I'm not going to do it. Moral of the story, guys, when you're going through heartbreak, the best thing you can do is serve. I know my heartbreak story is not as scandalous as my healing story is not as scandalous as the heartbreak story. But you need peace, you need calm for healing, because healing is turbulent. So you need to have peace. You need to say, Mbali, I am going to do this for myself, and I'm going to choose that every single night when I go to bed. I'm going to say, Lord, thank you for today. I'm hurting, but I'm still going to continue. Let's we have to rip the band-aid off. So I know I'm talking about turbulence and peace, but it makes sense in my mind. But you need to choose this stilter. You need to choose peace, meaning don't go back and poke at the people who've hurt you, cuss them out and curse. Don't do that. I did that. It's not healthy. Don't do that. Choose peace and take the time to work on yourself. because God is preparing you for the next season of your life. Okay? I need y'all to do better than me. I need y'all to do better than me. Tomorrow's episode is gonna be about your identity. Your identity. How heartbreak helps you to find your identity in Christ.